Hi, good day to my scholars. Welcome to English 101 with Miss Cassie. How are you today? So while we are in our course, today we're going to learn how to begin to write a narrative essay. So first, let's start off with this. What is required of me? In language arts and in English, we always usually have some sort of prompt or something that we are working on, whether it's craft and structure, author's purpose. Today, we are going to venture into creative land and we are going to look at writing a narrative essay. So, asking to compose such a specific kind of academic paper, in this case, professors don't demand of their students to follow strict rules as for other writing assignments and only give them a basic structure. The idea is simple. You take a story from a real life situation. It could be something that happened to you, happened to a friend, something that you know everything about and that you could describe really, really well. You are going to take that and you're going to dwell upon the most vibrant moments as far as events are unfolding. So you definitely want to make sure you're going in chronological order. I'm going to give you a really great organizing worksheet, like a graphic organizer, while we are planning this. The narrative's parts should be coherent and convey a particular mood. So if you're writing an essay, and if you're following along with me, we are right up in here, and we want to first figure out the purpose. What's the purpose of us doing this? So following along with me, writing a narrative essay. The main purpose of a narrative essay is to tell the reader about events, interactions, and experience that have happened to the author during the particular period of time. It always has a very vivid plot. And when I mean vivid, I mean like tell me the color, the texture, the senses that you are going through at every single moment that you can possibly put it in there. Add in as many adjectives and adverbs. Show me your creative side. So I'm going to leave you with this. To write a breathtaking narrative essay quickly, let us introduce you to the most compelling step-by-step sequence. So it's not like we're just going to throw you out there and say, hey, just write what comes to mind. There's a specific way to outline it, and then there's a specific way to get your initial thoughts down on paper. And then what you're going to do is start your first draft and then build on it from there. I always go to my creative process thinking about the prompt. So looking at the preparation before your creative process actually starts, you should learn a bit more about the general requirements inherent in this kind of paper. Choose the topic and collect some relevant information to use it as the reference. Now, that doesn't always have to apply. If you're telling a personal story and you don't have any academic resources to cite, then it's not always something that you're going to have in a narrative. Definitely something you would have in an explanatory essay. Anything that where you're analyzing literature, you would go back to the author, because you're looking at what the author maybe what their point of view might be. But for the narrative essay, it's a little bit different. This is where you get to really show me your creative side. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to show you what I would use as an organizer, just to get my thoughts together. So if I gave you a prompt, let's say I said, okay class, I want you to write me about the coolest winter break you've ever had in your whole life. Okay, there's your prompt. so you know what you have to write about. So while you're looking at your graphic organizer here, and I will make it bigger for you, so hopefully you can follow right along with me and see what I'm seeing. You would definitely, keep yourself organized. Your prompt is right there. Write your prompt. Write it down so it's always in front of you. And the first thing you would do is think about how you're going to introduce it. First, think about your answer. You don't have to get too deep into it yet, but just outlining. Thinking about the introduction paragraph. Now, I've always said my favorite method of teaching how to write an introduction, and this goes for any kind of essay, it's called the HAT method, and that is hook, attack, and thesis. So as you can see on your graphic organizer here, you would hook your reader. So how are you going to do that? Have you ever learned any methods of hooking your reader? There are quite a few. One of the most effective I've ever had working with my students is ones using like onomatopoeia, using figurative language. You could throw in a metaphor. You could just be very, very descriptive, make me picture something in my mind that like I just want to read more. I'm going to give you an example. Using figurative language such as onomatopoeia, because that's always a fun one, right? So we would say bam, and then all the lights went out and nobody knew what happened. Would I want to keep reading? Oh yeah, I want to know what's happening, right? So that would be a great hook. The next thing that I would want to do is attack the topic. Now we know that the prompt says we need to, or what was our best winter break ever. So I'm attacking the topic. Winter break is, you're going to tell me about winter break. Winter break is, usually supposed to be for, just tell me about the topic. And then your thesis is basically where you are going to restate the prompt but include your answer. So you would say, my best winter break ever was the time in 2011 when and then give me your answer, because then you're going to go on to, like you can see in your graphic organizer here, you're going to go on to organizing your body paragraphs. So you'll have 3 body paragraphs, which you will have to use in your thesis. Use 3 main topics. So say the best winter break I ever had was when I went to my grandmother's house and we went snowboarding, skiing, and then we had a huge bonfire. So one of your body paragraphs would be about skiing, one would be about snowboarding, one would be about what happened at the bonfire. So that's how you're going to organize your essay. So starting with the first topic you mentioned in your thesis, you're going to write the topic sentence. So in 2011, when we went skiing, you're going to tell me, jot down, this is just for the purposes of your outline, jot down the most important details. And then a closing statement, like, how did it end? Was it a good day? Was it a bad day? Did anybody break their leg? Hopefully not. Then the second one could be, your topic sentence would be something about, the next day we went snowboarding up in so-and-so mountain, and then you're going to give me the 3 main details about what happened that day, and then the same thing, closing sentence, end your day, tell me what happened when you ended your day. And then the last one would be to end your vacation, you guys threw a big bonfire, and give me the 3 details that would be like the most important, and then your closing statement. And then before you start, remember, you're going to go back into this and you're going to add very specific adjectives. You're going to be vivid. You're going to paint the picture in my head. Like I was actually there and I saw exactly what you were doing. And I can feel everything you're feeling. I can feel the texture of the snow, and I can see how you were standing out there, and you could see your breath because it was so cold. These are the kind of details that you would use in a narrative essay to really capture my attention as your reader. So in your closing paragraph or your conclusion, say your thesis differently. So you would just kind of sum it up and you would say, overall, or there's a lot of transition words that you could use, but, or in conclusion, or in all, anything like that. My winter break of 2011 was the most memorable in history, and it will remain that way for the rest of my life, and then close with an interesting thought. And I always say an interesting final thought, because that's where you're gonna end your story. So try to make your last paragraph at least 3 sentences. Try to make all of your paragraphs 3 to 5 sentences. The more the better, because I think with these kind of essays, you can definitely go back in, and I'm going to go ahead and scroll down, because during your writing process now, you need to start thinking about how you're going to put it all together. Now we have the outline. Now we're going to start writing, and we're going to fill in all of those details that you had. Now you're going to explain every little part of it. You're going to tell me how big your skis were, how cold was it outside, what time of day did you go skiing, what kind of trees did you see, what was the smell when you went outside. You are going to be so descriptive, so as to tell me a story that I can imagine everything in my head. So you have your major points of your essay. You are going to describe each of them, and then you're going to end up with an unpredictable twist and delightful punchline. So that's your conclusion. After you end up outlining it, it gets a lot easier to kind of fill in the blanks. So this outline page here will be uploaded, and you will be able to go in and reference this while you're writing your narrative. The next thing would be editing and proofreading, and we'll definitely cover that in a couple minutes here. So once you have all of your details down and you've done your first draft, now you have to go back and revise it. Make sure you have all of your I's dotted and your T's crossed and all of your grammar and punctuation correct. Don't just leave us hanging. Don't just add in sentences that have nothing to do with your topic. This is your chance to add in more details, maybe take out some that don't belong. Add in more adjectives, make it more vivid and colorful. Make sure that you don't repeat a lot of things. You want to make sure that you don't have a lot of repetition. If you do have citations, make sure you use the proper format. You tell me either the name of the work and definitely tell me the author, and APA guidelines say that we need to use the author's last name and the year of the publication. Well, you can also reference the name of the book if you happen to need to use a source like that. Please do it properly, and if you need to look up ways to do that, you can look up APA formatting. Proofreading definitely is something that needs to be done before you would submit your final draft. So remember, what should I do during this process? Check grammar. You can use Grammarly.com or other services from infographics below. You just remember to look for anything that's misspelled. Make sure you make all of those corrections. Turn on your imagination and start crafting a brilliant piece adhering to all of these recommendations. Tell me a story. That's what I want you to do. So in closing, essential elements of the narrative essay: tell it chronologically, give me a good thesis statement, use dialogue, tell me what you said to your friends, and use sensory details. Basically, I want to know everything that happened that you saw, you heard, you felt, you maybe even tasted. And that's it for your lesson today. I'm going to leave you with my little final thought myself, and that's happy writing. Have a great day, guys.